Kevin, we're also making history across the greater West Bloomfield area. In 2024, Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian is celebrating 150 years of service to our community, and we are celebrating alongside with them as well, as they have built a grand community that has spanned the generations. Joining us now from Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian is the Reverend Dr. Richard Lapehn, who is the pastor of Orchard Lake Community Church. Pastor, thank you for being with us today.
Certainly, it's a pleasure to be with you today.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about a momentous accomplishment for any community to span 150 years and beyond. And for your church community, that is the case. So what's the celebration been like as you got into 2024 and are now celebrating 150 years of service right here in the greater West Bloomfield community?
Well, we have a lot planned for this summer, but I wanted to mention to you just the sparkling history of our congregation. It goes back, honestly, to the foundation days of West Bloomfield Township and the Orchard Lake community. It all started back on Apple Island, which is the centerpiece of the Orchard Lake. Back in that day in the 1850s and 60s, there was a Christian couple, Colin and Carolyn Campbell, who vacationed in the summer months and held vespers each evening in their home on Apple Island. But the population, of course, the attraction of this community, the attraction of the Lakes region here in West Bloomfield Township, continued to grow. The people from the Detroit metropolitan area wanted to enjoy the summer months out here, and so they moved out to the Orchard Lake area to West Bloomfield Township. And eventually, a state senator by the name of Peter Dow donated the property on the banks of the Orchard Lake that became known as the Church of the Wildwood, Church in the Wildwood, and that now is the Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian that we enjoy today after 150 years of mission and ministry in our region. I think it's interesting that back in that day in 1874, when the very first church service was held here, the Orchard Lake Church was constructed for what was then a princely sum of about $3,000 in 1874, which is a lot of money back then. We held our first church service on July 18th of that year. The governor of Michigan attended, all sorts of dignitaries and hundreds of guests. And now today, the legacy of the Orchard Lake Community Church stands on the solid foundation of sacrifice by all those who have gone before us. There were a couple of hotels back on Orchard Lake in that day and age in the late 1800s, and oftentimes the visitors at the hotel, who would be vacationers from the city and from the region, would ride the Pride of the Lake, which was a small steamboat on Orchard Lake, operated on the lake, and they would come over on Sunday morning and share worship in the Orchard Lake Chapel back in those days. The founders of the church, Colin and Carolyn Campbell, had a daughter who was here for many years. She, in fact, was here for the 50th anniversary of the church, and she said her quote was, "Gifts material and spiritual have been showered upon this little white chapel. God has given us more than we can ask or think." And that is certainly the case, and we celebrate all that has come before us today to make our church what it is today, 150 years after its founding.
And it's not only been building your church's community, your congregation over that 150 years that has been such an important role, but continuing, as you said, those connections to the community. You mentioned the connection to Apple Island and that continued connection throughout the years, growing from that 50th anniversary to continue branching out to various areas of our community. So today, 150 years later in 2024, how does the Orchard Lake Community Church serve our community today?
Well, so many people in West Bloomfield Township have attended the Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian for a wedding or memorial service. They recall the gorgeous view of the Orchard Lake that we enjoy here at the church. Today, in fact, on this day that we're recording, we are hosting the West Bloomfield Newcomers Luncheon in our Lakeview area. And we open the doors of our church to numerous community groups for gatherings and anniversaries and other events to take advantage of our stunning views here at the lake and the warm hospitality of the church. There are so many members of our congregation who are very actively engaged in the community through the school board at West Bloomfield, through the local city council here in Orchard Lake, scouting programs throughout the region. We have a lakeside coffee house on a quarterly basis. We welcome and feature contemporary artists who share their music. But the Orchard Lake Community Church, at the heart of our church, is the mission that we are engaged in, mission efforts focused on those persons in need in our community. We offer support and often have many volunteers participate in the Big Family of Michigan, the back to school supplies and clothing closet in Pontiac for the students there. We help with Grace Centers of Hope, the prison fellowship in the Detroit area, with Freedom House and Hope Against Trafficking. Waterford Meals on Wheels has benefited from our generous donations. Area food pantries, summer cereal for disadvantaged kids, and so many more charitable groups that are close to home here in the Orchard Lake area. There is a wonderful group I wanted to mention, as skilled ladies in our congregation that make quilts and quillos for children experience crisis transitions in the South Oakland shelter, and another talented team of folks here at the church who make beautiful prayer shawls that we hand deliver to persons who are experiencing grief and trauma. But we're not limited just to our area, that internationally, our congregation offers support and has sent workers to the Crane Center in Uganda, to Shupil, Mexico, on many occasions, medical intervention in Chad, in Africa, uh, throughout Honduras and the Philippines. And in fact, continuing this summer, we have a group of folks from the church who will be traveling to Copper Hill, Tennessee for a mission trip to aid volunteering with hands-on simple home repairs. While we're there, we're also going to go whitewater rafting, of course. We like to have a lot of fun. On July 21st, we will be celebrating, and we have a very active plan for this summer. In fact, on Saturday, June 22nd, I wanted to mention the whole community is invited to watch the fireworks over Orchard Lake here at the church. We invite you to bring a lawn chair and some snacks and relax at the lakefront. Enjoy the fireworks from our beautiful location. That's Saturday, June 22nd here at Orchard Lake. We have Vacation Bible School coming up in June from the 24th to the 27th. Our children and family youth director here at the church has a great week planned. And even if those students have never been here, the students from local elementary schools are all invited to participate. And then on Friday, September 13th, the Orchard Lake Church is going to host a very special Christian youth event featured a celebrated artist named DJ Code. Our church is actually well known for the excellence in music that we enjoy each week and the wonderful concerts that the Orchard Lake Community Church continues to provide for the entire area. Under the guidance of our music director and organist, Bruce Snyder, we have the Messiah. We have, along with a local orchestra, we perform the Requiem for the Living by Dan Forrest in the spring, again with local professional musicians, some of whom are from the West Bloomfield Township area, who share their wonderful musical gifts here with the church and our entire church community. Five Lakes Silver Band has provided fun Christmas programs over the years for the church, and all of our wonderful music programs are, of course, open to the public. And here at the church, we do enjoy wonderful music. We have gifted musicians who will sing and play handbells and any number of instruments to express our faith in Christ and our joy in worshiping together. I also wanted to mention our faith community nurse here at the Orchard Lake Community Church will host a blood drive in August to benefit the West Bloomfield Township area, a flu vaccination clinic in September. And there's so many wonderful things going on here at the church that I invite all in the public who have not yet been here to look us up and participate in anything that interests you.
You can find more information on all that's going on at Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian on their website, olccp.com. You can also follow along on Facebook and see all the memories being made in progress, facebook.com/olccp as well. We're joined by their pastor, Richard Lapehn, on today's edition of The Splash Live as Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian celebrates 150 years of service in our community. And you had mentioned earlier on, Pastor, that 150 years of service. The church has has had various roles in our community, serves various roles in our community today, and those have changed over the years. And the role of religion, whether it's Christianity or Judaism or Islam or any other, has also changed over that 150 years and across various faiths. So in 2024, what do you believe is the overlaying role of faith in our society, and what purpose or what positive purpose can that serve for people, whether they're super religious or they just want to experience some sense of a community?
Well, I think all of the wonderful question. I think people have seen from these surveys and after experience the COVID era of the danger of being apart from others, the danger of not being a part of a community, the distress, the anxiety that people experience through everyday living, certainly, but certainly when we are separated from one another. And a community of faith like our church, like the Orchard Lake Community Church, our community of faith provides such a foundational element for people's life and lifestyles to be together, to support one another, to gather our resources in support of the West Bloomfield Township area and the entire region in which we live and serve. Coming up on July 21st will be our big celebration at 10 a.m. And part of that celebration on July 21st is the fact that we have done so much for the community and been so blessed by this community as members of the community have been a part of the church and shared their wonderful gifts and ideas and their desire to serve others with us, and has allowed this church to find so many ways to serve others, truly for the benefit of all as a community of faith. And I think that they're critical places that people often, choose to ignore, sadly, these days, to not be a part, to take the time out of their schedule to enter into a community of faith. And I pray that more and more people will return and be a part of us or other communities of faith where they find that level of comfort and a means to express their love for our Creator and Lord. But on July 21st, we certainly look forward to welcoming all sorts of folks. We're having dignitaries, and at 10 a.m., there'll even be bagpipes in celebration of the Scottish heritage of our church and the ringing of the church bell to celebrate all that we have accomplished and all that we look forward to accomplishing as a local church in the West Bloomfield Township area.
150 years of Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian. Again, the celebration Sunday, July 21st at 10 a.m. at their location on Commerce Road in West Bloomfield Township. Keep up to date. Learn more about everything going on in their community at olccp.com or Facebook at olccp. Pastor, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It's a privilege to talk to you today.